this demonstration is on using the OnRoad data that you got from the 2011 NEI and doing an allocation or a scaling down based on some VMT data, which is vehicle miles traveled data that you collect, and the county VMT data that we can provide for you in a spreadsheet format. And that spreadsheet format is the 2011 NEI County VMT.xlsx spreadsheet. And that is in the course material. Before you can use the spreadsheet, you need to calculate your reservation VMT data. And we've discussed this process in a previous module, but I have a fake reservation that I made up that I did calculate the reservation VMT values for this fake reservation. And I'm going to show you that spreadsheet. So this is the spreadsheet that I made for a reservation that's in both Coconino County and Yavapai County in Arizona. And you'll see that we have a section for the Coconino County part of the reservation and the Yavapai County reservation. And in the Coconino part, I-40 runs through the reservation. So we have a part of I-40, which is the interstate that runs through our reservation. And I used internet mapping service to estimate the road length of that part of Interstate 40 that runs in Coconino County that's on the reservation. There's also a whole bunch of rural local roads that are on the reservation in Coconino County. In Yavapai County, we don't have an interstate, but we have a state route, which is State Route 89A, that goes through the reservation, and I measured that road length using internet maps. And I also have a bunch of rural local roads that go through the reservation. So as you know, to calculate the VMT, you need the road length and you need a traffic count. And most of the time, traffic count data is daily traffic count data. So you need to multiply that value by 365 days a year to get your total VMT. So for the big roads, I use the Arizona Department of Transportation website to determine the traffic count values. And here for my spreadsheet, I kept a link to that website. And for my other rural local roads, I just went out and counted my traffic. Then I wrote a formula in Excel to calculate the VMT. So if you look here, I've got this formula, and it multiplies the road length by the traffic count, and it multiplies that total by 365 to give you an annual VMT value. Also, like, depending on the agency, Department of Transportation that you go to, they might have information that on what the functional classification of the road is. And a functional classification means whether it's major collector, minor collector, other principal arterial, etc. So that might also be something that you can find on those Department of Transportation websites. It just depends on what state you are in, what's on those maps. If you have any questions on what do those mean, like what does a rural major collector road mean, there is a description in the Federal Highway Administration site, and we have a link to that in our notes document. So if you want to look up exactly what a major collector road is, you can do that. The next step that we want to do is we want to calculate the ratio of the reservation VMT to the county VMT. And we have a spreadsheet to help you do that. And I'm going to show you that spreadsheet right now. So this spreadsheet is how it looks when you first open it up. And you'll see that this has a whole bunch of data in it for all of the states that you guys are in. But we're focusing on Arizona because that's where this fictional reservation is. So what you want to do first is you want to filter the data. So you want to select your state in the filter. And there should be a drop-down arrow in the state area, so we'll click on that. We want to do unselect, so if we click this, that's going to unselect everything. And we're only going to select Arizona. And click OK. And now we're going to select our counties. So we click on this drop down to select our counties. And we're going to unselect all. And the counties we're going to look at are Coconino and Yavapai. So we'll select Coconino and Yavapai. And click OK. And now you'll see that this data is filtered out, so we're only looking at the data that we're going to be needing. So now we're going to filter by row type. And remember, if we look at our other spreadsheet, we've got a rural interstate, we've got rural local, and we've got a rural other principal arterial. So we've got to select those three in our filter. So we'll click select all to get rid of that. Now we've got the rural interstate here, and rural local, other principal arterial, and rural local. So we'll click OK. And now only those three row types are shown. And what you want to do here is you want to paste in your reservation VMT values if you calculated them in a spreadsheet. If you didn't calculate them in a spreadsheet, you just calculated them by hand, you can just type them in here. But since we have them in the spreadsheet, we can get them from there. So we'll go back into that spreadsheet where we calculated our VMTs. And we'll start with the rural interstates. And you want to copy the annual VMT. So we're going to right click and we're going to do copy. And that makes this little thing come up over the data that shows that we've copied it. And we're going to go into the other spreadsheet and we're going to paste. And what you cannot do here is do the keyboard shortcut of Control V. That won't work because that copies the formula, and what we want is the value. So we have to right click and we have to do paste special. So let's click paste special, and we want to select the values, and then we'll click OK. And that puts the value in instead of the formula, which would cause errors if we use the formula. So you'll see that the ratio is then calculated. And if you look at the formula of the ratio, what it does is it takes your annual reservation VMT and it divides it by the county VMT. So that means that 0.03 blah 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 is the amount of the reservation VMT in the county. So we're going to take that number and then we're going to multiply it by the county number, and that's going to tell us the estimated emission at the reservation level. I'm going to go through and we're going to copy and paste for all of these options. We've got rural, local, total in Coconino County. So let's go back into the spreadsheet and we want to grab this value. And this is the sum of all of these roads up here because we want the total of the rural, local roads in Coconino County. So I had wrote a formula to sum these up here. So we'll copy that by right-clicking and select copy. We'll go back into our other spreadsheet. We right-click and we do paste special. Here's a shortcut. On my computer, I have values in this paste special. That's an option that I can use if I want instead of going all the way into paste special value. So I'll go ahead and click there. And then that populates that ratio. So let's go back into our spreadsheet here. And the next thing we're going to copy is we're going to copy for Yavapai County now. We're going to copy rural other principal arterial. So we right click and we select copy. And then we go back into our other spreadsheet. And we want to make sure we put this in the right place because notice there's not in the same order as they are in my other spreadsheet. So you want to make sure you're in the rural other principal arterial for Yavapai County, okay? So right click and do paste values. All right, let's see what else we've got here. we've got our rural local total that we need to copy over for Yavapai County. So we'll right-click on that and click copy. And then go into our other spreadsheet. And we'll paste in the rural local for Yavapai County area. So paste special values. And notice that I don't have a rural other principal arterial road in Coconino County, and I don't have a rural interstate in Yavapai County. So I'm just going to leave those blank because I don't have any data for those. But right now I'm going to save my spreadsheet because I don't want to lose any of this. So I'll click save to save the spreadsheet as it is.